Hi there, I'm Joe Glanfield and you're watching Coach's Corner from here at Sail GP Cádiz in Spain.
What a day it has been for the Canadians. They win race 4, they back it up with a win in race number 5.
Yesterday we had the very first time the Canadian team have been out in big waves. We had quite a swell coming into Cádiz Bay, and on top of that there were small waves, and so it's very difficult to keep a constant ride height. And I think every team struggled, even the teams that have been doing this a very long time. But for us it was our very first experience of that. So we're on this sort of learning journey where we're trying to get better quicker, but inevitably you have some times where you just don't quite get it right. For us, what happened when we had a nosedive is essentially we got a little bit too high on the ride height in one patch where we're in the trough of the wave, and then it means that essentially we lost the lift of the foils and we suddenly just planted down. It can happen for a number of reasons. It can happen due to rake adjustment. It can happen because of the rudders. You know, it can happen because you lose the heel. But yeah, it's quite dramatic when it happens. But what you will have seen yesterday is everyone's close, and if you can just save it, then the consequences aren't too bad. But if you don't quite save it and the boat nosedives, then it takes a long time to get going again. Yeah, I think so. Motivation's never a problem. These guys and girls are always motivated. You know, they always want to win and want to do the best they can. So it's more trying to keep them with a big picture. That actually, there's a number of conditions we need to experience before we can say that we're an experienced team. We surprised ourselves really in Bermuda and Chicago, coming third and then second. But in some ways they were quite straightforward conditions. So they're all new experiences. And then when we came to Cádiz, the first day we had big waves, and that was the first time we'd have big waves. And that's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening all season, where we get new things that we haven't experienced before. And all we can really do is make sure we're being really honest about what we do wrong in those things and improve as quickly as we can. And I think we did a really good job of that here. You know, there was no hiding from the mistakes that we made from any of the sailors. We spoke about them really honestly, and it's been a really valuable experience. And Saint-Tropez was a really valuable experience as well. Yeah, so we knew that the bottom of the line was the best place to start, and the tricky bit is manoeuvring the boat in a place where we can start to get that position. Because if you get too low, then suddenly you have a problem, and it's very easy to be late, and then the punishment is quite big. If you get it right, then you're going to be in the best place. But you know, what we were really aspiring to is to make sure we're at that mark in the top 4 in each race, and from there, as you saw with the Americans, you know, you can build a really good series. You know, yesterday it didn't quite work out for us, but the starting wasn't the problem. You know, the starting on all 5 races that we did, we got enough out of the start to make the final. It was other problems that stopped us. How can you get on that boat? Well, you know, we're trying to always think with how can we develop more sailors from Canada to come into the Sail GP team. And I think for not just in Canada, but in all of the nationalities, your opportunity comes by being a really good small boat racer, you know, and start to really understand how to foil, race at a really high level of that, and you know, and we're always keeping an eye out. We're always thinking of how can we have development camps that introduce people that have potential to come and get within the team. Quite a long way. So So this weekend was quite good because each day was similar conditions to the next day. So we were able to take learning points and carry them on to the next day. And certainly the Sunday of this was kind of a combination of Friday and Saturday. And we had some learning points that we wanted to try and bring in from Friday and some learning points that we wanted to bring in from Saturday. But we also look much further back than that, you know, like actually we also look at other times were there other times that we raced in a similar wind speed in similar conditions? What were the things that we did well? Where did we need to make improvements and try and bring those into our racing? So yeah, we're looking quite a long way back and we're creating a strategy before we go on the water. Yes, I do, yeah, I do. I think they had the right, you know, there was an argument, could you be on the AP1 or AP2 jib? Because it was right on the edge, but actually it wasn't that windy yesterday. We went on the AP1, which is for light winds. It wasn't that windy, it's just the waves made it feel windier than it was. But yeah, I think we had the right setup. I think, you know, we finished yesterday thinking if you had those big waves with 20 knots, it would be really interesting. Yeah, I think the equipment was good. I think the reason we fell off the foils twice was the conditions were really difficult and it was very new to us as a team of how to deal with those conditions, you know. And yes, maybe we would have got a better result if we had been more cautious. But if you get too cautious, basically that means getting lower and lower in the water, then you're slower as well. And so we wouldn't necessarily have done a lot better. And I think some really good learning points came off by experiencing being on the limit. And hopefully that means that we'll be better equipped next time we experience those conditions. So we had a really good day today. I think what we did well is we brought a lot of the learning points from Friday and Saturday and executed them well today. They've been doing things actually really well this weekend, even though the results didn't show it. And they just managed to eliminate some of those mistakes, but carry on doing what they have been doing well. And that was great to see. It was great to see them take so much back again and nearly make that final race. Thanks for watching. That was Coach's Corner here in Cádiz. If you've got any questions, please leave them here, and I'll see you in Dubai.